Welcome to the King Servant Blog podcast. My name is NL Ross. That's two letters, NL. I like to keep it simple. Today, I want to talk about the Supreme Court ruling overturning Roe versus Wade. And today, I have with me the Juju lady, and we're gonna kind of talk about it a little bit. But I want to say before we talk about it, there's a lot of ways to look at this. There's a lot of different aspects of this, but mainly abortion. I, I don't agree with what they did. So before I get into how I feel about it, Juju lady, how about you tell us your opinion?
So I am really saddened and hurt by the decision that was made, mainly because I am a woman. I've had to make choices, and I do feel for young women that are going to need to make that choice, victims of rape, incest, um, medical need, a medical necessity for abortion, um, and our privacy. This strips away a lot of things for women, and we fought a long, hard road to try to have some kind of rights to our say so of our bodies and what we do with it and how we're treated. And I feel like we just took a lot of steps back today.
I definitely agree with that. I sit in a weird place on this. I sit in a weird place because I don't I don't agree with abortion. I don't agree. I don't agree that anybody should ever have an abortion. That's my stance. But I also know that it's not my right to tell somebody else what they can and cannot do. A few years ago, the Republican Party made a big stink about religious freedoms. And I believe that by going, okay, they're saying this is biblical. So I believe by them saying this is a biblical thing, I believe it's wrong because it's not religious freedom anymore. If you're gonna make somebody else, if you're gonna make somebody else do the things that you believe in. So my thing is, why I don't understand why they believe that this was the right thing to do. Even though they want to say it's for God and it's biblical, although we know they're not living a biblical life because we see them, we hear you talking, so we know you're not really living a biblical life. I mean, you all sorts of things are going on in the Supreme Court right now, and to do this, it just feels like they don't care about America. To me, do you feel that way? Do you feel like the people that agree with them are outnumbered by the people that disagree, or do you think it's the other way around?
I'm not sure politically how I feel about what they agree on, but I do know that what this was in 1973.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, I mean, not too far away from where women couldn't even buy a house unless they were married.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about women's rights and the ability to choose and the ability to make decisions on our own, what I do know is that you just strip that away,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's religious based or whether it's political, whatever it's based on, um, you strip that right away and opened up another door for possible privacy violations, um, the right to marry who you choose, the even a married couple's bedroom privacy is at risk here. So you're telling me you're going to strip this away, and now you get to choose whether or not I can be on birth control, or because I'm married or whatever. And I think that is a far cry from where we were heading, and we've just taken a lot of steps back. So my main issue with this is rape victims. Because what people aren't talking about is that even though we had Roe versus Wade and abortions were legal in some states, etc., what we're missing here is that there was still a fine line of who can get an abortion and who can't, or what is considered a necessity. Then you have the cost of abortion. Then you have victims that don't come out and, say they were raped. You don't know, children. And, just in 2019, there was a case of a young girl that was raped, a minor. And after that, she had to fight for custody of her child for her rape with a rapist. Those are the kind of things that bother me, because that affects the mental health of a rape victim already, who's gone through a traumatic issue and now has to fight to maintain the custody of their child because they didn't have a choice. They didn't have a choice to abort. They didn't have a choice to make there. It was given to them, oh, you have to have this baby. Or in my case, where actually having another child was going to be detrimental to my health, like was going to kill me. And I had to make that choice. And in the state of North Carolina, medical abortions are not legal. So had I not been able to get one myself, then what would have happened to me? What choice would I have? So those are things that are at risk. It's more than just people, women going around and just having abortions as a form of birth control. I think they didn't actually consider that there are a lot of extenuating circumstances that are at risk here.
When I when I did a little bit of research to look at this situation, I was conflicted. It's mainly because I am conflicted, because like I said, I do not agree with abortion. I do agree that there are certain circumstances where people should have it, but as a whole, I don't agree with abortion. But I don't agree with abortion not because. Okay, wait, I shouldn't say it that way. Okay, biblically, I believe I should not agree with abortion. But at the same time, as I say that, biblically, I cannot prove to you that God is against abortion. Because if you go biblically, there's enough verses where God is saving babies as when God is giving instructions to go out there and kill the babies.
Right.
So I'm conflicted in that point. But when I get to just the subject of abortion, obviously I'm a man, so I'm never going to have an abortion anyway. So how I feel about abortion really don't matter to anybody, really. So my thing here is, how can I, because I believe this, make a whole country suffer because of this?
And you say, because you're a man and you'll never have an abortion, that you don't have, but it was 9 men in a room that made this decision. None of them have uteruses. None of them will ever have to experience making a choice of whether to have an abortion or die trying to give birth.
See,
I have to do that.
I'm trying to save the Supreme Court talk, because I know you're not as political as I am and not into that stuff as I am.
Yeah.
But something you do have to understand about the Supreme Court is none of them are our age. None of them are running around. I mean, if they are running around cheating still, they know how to do it better now. These people that did this, Clarence Thomas is not running down the road just knocking them down.
I know that's right.
Throwing it at them. So
you're so stupid.
So what I'm saying is, to them, it really don't matter to them. To them, it don't matter, because only thing they're really doing is hurting somebody in their family, which obviously they don't care about. But to them, it don't matter, because none of them are out there just, clubbing like that. But what I will say about that is, that stems from something that you almost got into earlier about women's rights. See, for a long time in this country we live in, Black people and women were kind of in the same boat, except for white women could go places that black people could not go, but their
Right.
rights were the same.
We're the same. Hmm.
And you know, in a time like now, we have to reflect and think about that. Think about, if not for the civil rights movement, I don't know. I don't know how long it would take America to let women vote, but they
Yeah.
let black people, they let black men vote before white women vote, and they hated black men. So what does that tell you? You know, this is they stand somewhere. Now, one more thing politically, all of these Supreme Court judges lied. All the ones that overturned Roe versus Wade, they lied. I have looked at all of their little hearings. I went through all of them, especially Mr. Kavanaugh, the beer man.
Oh
But,
Lord.
but I'm gonna tell you this: they all said that president matters. They all said that Roe versus Wade was settled. They all said that.
Hmm.
But when Ketanji Brown was up there getting her little hearing, they want to make sure that she's not going to change her mind. But nobody's going to say anything about these Supreme Court judges to change their mind, because they
Right.
sat right there. There's video of it. They sat right there and said they will not mess with Roe versus Wade. We know that Roe versus Wade is precedent. We know that it is established law. That's what they said. And the first chance they get, they run the ball the other way.
Right. And what's his name? Alito,
Mm-hmm.
who pretty much, he's calling, he said in his statement that they weren't going to that none of this mattered unless it was dealing with abortion. So none of them, the overturning of Roe versus Wade, nothing mattered except for the abortion portion, like whatever had to deal with abortion. However, and this is why I don't deal in politics, because they talk out of both sides of their neck. Later on, he's explicitly calling to reconsider, like, right to marriage equality, a couple's right to choose on contraceptives. Like, this is going to be an extremely dangerous thing, because this takes away our most essential rights. So you're not just saying I can't have an abortion. What you're saying is, not only can I not marry who I choose, when you force me to marry whomever it is that I'm able to marry, now we can't even make our own choice of whether we want to use contraceptives, or whether we want to use, whether we want to have a baby or not. Like, what kind of.
I always wonder. And like when I was younger, I knew exactly what it meant. And I got a little older. I think I got a little more knowledge. And I almost fell into the trap of the we the people thing, because I thought, as long as a majority of Americans, even if I don't like it, as
Right.
long as a majority of Americans agree with it, there's nothing I can say about it.
No.
There's things I don't agree with the Constitution. But I'm gonna tell you this right here. It's what we have in America. So as a man of God, I gotta honor that.
Right.
And there's things in it I don't agree with, but as a man of God, I gotta honor that. And that's the same thing here. And my problem with this is, I have not heard a poll yet where there's 50% of Americans that agree with overturning this. And I believe that is a problem. I believe that is a big problem. And to something that you said, what they want to do now is give the states more power.
Yeah.
If anybody in America has any clue about any history, we know that if you are anything except white, you do not want the states to have final say over your life.
Not at all.
There is a reason that the federal government had to step in and make laws in order to make these states do the right thing by us. These states chose to do what they wanted to do. So if they do something like this and give the states more power, I just feel like it's going to hurt us, and there's nothing that people can do about it.
Literally, hands are tied. Our hands are literally tied in this, because we're not going to be able to move. And it's going to be a situation where no matter where we turn, our rights are being taken away. And this is kind of like, I guess, like what do they say? gateway drug. This is kind of
Mhm.
like the gateway kind of thing, like when they're
I
taking
think
away your
so too.
rights, and why I really do advocate for self-sufficiency and not leaning on the government at all and living free of those standards and rules and governance of ourselves, because we're not going to have any rights. Like I, I am 40 years old, and I'm not trying to have nobody tell me whether or not I can use birth control.
Amen.
Like, you're putting people in an impossible situation. You're putting women in an impossible situation, to where, this is, what are we living for if we can't even make a choice of whether or not we conceive or not? And the contraceptive part really does get me, and because he really overstated his case on this one. And as soon as I read it, I was like, okay, I see where he's going with that. So he says it's not going to affect anything unless it has to do with abortion. However, a lot of contraceptives work that way, so
Mhm.
that if you could still get pregnant, but it's a certain pill that you take in your birth control pills. All women know this, and it's going to make your cycle come on. Is That's going to be considered an abortion.
Mhm.
So now you're telling me, like, I really can't use any type of birth control, because the one that works is going to be the one that makes your cycle come on, and is going to be considered an abortion, right? I mean, he really overstated it to the point where I was like, I see where he's going. I see that. So
I
plan
felt like
Bs.
I felt like if those things didn't matter to him, he would have brought those things up.
Correct. If it wasn't so important, and you were just focused on the abortion piece, he
Mhm.
wouldn't have brought it up.
That's right.
Political, I mean, that's just from a political standpoint, he just wouldn't have brought it up at all. So, and then you have the plan B. So now you're telling me that rape victims won't be able to get the plan B at the
Mhm.
hospital. So you're forcing rape victims to not only deal with the trauma of being raped, but also deal with the possibility that they may become pregnant because you weren't able to give them that emergency contraceptive.
Mhm.
And if they do become pregnant, now they got to deal with the fact that their rapist can actually come and fight for custody. That is the most ridiculous mess I've ever heard in my life. Like, I just can't. But can we talk about the fact why we have Roe versus Wade? Can we
Yeah.
talk about that? So, a lot of women were dying. Women, young girls were dying from having illegal abortions.
Mhm.
So, the Roe versus Wade was to make it legal so that they can safely go and get abortions. It wasn't so they can get abortions, because they were doing it anyway.
Right. Right.
So this is really taking away that safety net. So we're going to have young girls scared to death already because they're young and pregnant, and they're going to have to go into somebody's freaking back room of a house
Mhm.
with no kind of anesthesia, no kind of medication, and try to have an abortion and hope they don't die from it. Is that what we really care? How much we really care about the people of the United States, the women, the children? Is where we are? And about children, I mean, babies get left at fire stations, dumpsters, hospitals every day.
I know I talked about it with you once before. I said I think that if that's the route that they wanted to go, I mean, like I say, I'm cool with that. I mean, especially if America wants that. But stop allowing the babies to die after they're born. Stop allowing these mothers to die after that baby is born. That would make me be like, okay, all right, then look, the mortality rate has been going down now for this amount of time. All right, so we got this thing. Hey, no more abortions. Hey, there's no argument. But right now, there's women having babies that want to have them, and they are dying. Babies are dying. They're dying, you know? And if you're gonna fix it so I can't have an abortion, you should first fix it to make sure this baby gonna live, or at least have better chances.
Right now in the United States of America, the corporation of the United States of America, you can literally compare gun violence from the police to Black men and white doctors to black women. doctors to Black women are just like police are to Black men.
Mhm.
More Black women die in childbirth and after childbirth than any other demographic of women.
Mhm.
To take away their right to choose is almost like handing out a death sentence, because you don't give a damn enough to say, hey, let's fix the system in order to protect these women and give them proper health care. I mean, I believe it was Serena that went through it. She was telling the doctors, something ain't right. Something isn't right. I don't know what's going on, but it isn't right. And they kept telling her, oh yeah, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And she hires a private doctor to find out she has blood clots going up both of her legs to her lungs. Like she literally could have died. And she got money. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about your insurance you're using, whether you're on Medicaid, whether you have paid insurance, whether you got money, whether you don't, it doesn't matter. And for that reason, the option to be able to choose whether or not you choose that journey should be up to a woman. I mean, and I agree with abortion. I don't want to have anyone ever have to go through that. I don't want a young lady to have to go through that, or other women, because like I said, I've been through it. It was medically necessary and it still hurt. It still was painful for me to lose a child. First of all, it's very impersonal. Um, you know, y'all are they taking away this right when in actuality, this isn't something that women want to do. It's not like, hey, we're like running to,
Not like
you know,
club down.
right. Like this isn't something that women's like, oh yeah, let's go do this today. I mean, it's a choice that has to be made. And a lot of times it's the last resort. I mean,
of all the ways I thought about this situation, I didn't even think about that. I didn't think about, it ain't like what I'm gonna do this summer? I'm gonna go get an abortion this summer. Yeah, wait.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like people are choosing. And have you ever been to an abortion clinic?
I did some thinking. And I have not. I've never been to one. As a matter of fact, I don't believe I know anyone that has had a choice abortion. Now, I do know some women that have had an abortion because of health issues or something like that. But right. I don't think I know anyone that, look, I can't take care of this baby, or this was a rape baby or incest baby and I had an abortion. I don't think I know anyone that's had a choice abortion before. If I do know somebody, they didn't tell me.
So I do know that in the state of North Carolina, I think there's maybe 2. I'm not really sure. I'm probably a little low on that. However, when you go to the one in Raleigh, it's there, like, because there's people outside picketing and, calling you baby killers. Like, just imagine already being in a messed up situation and having to make a choice to abort a child. And then you go there. First of all, it's going to cost you money. Okay. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but it's going to cost you money. And you're going to go to this situation where now you got people calling you a baby killer and they have no idea what the heck your situation is. They don't care. I mean, you literally have to have, like, there's security to make sure that these people don't attack people. And y'all think women are running to go do that? Y'all, and let's just be real here. You have to be 18. So these little girls that are getting taken advantage of by older men, getting raped, making bad decisions as children do, they stuck. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do?
I believe
so. It doesn't even affect everyone in this situation. Like, this is, it's just ridiculous. I really,
for poor people. I think all the rich people, they can still have their abortion. They can still go wherever they want to go to get it.
Oh yeah. Well, rich people can do whatever they want to. They selling organs, buying stuff off the black market, but that has nothing to do with the everyday people.
Right. And that's why I'm on the fence of disagreeing that they should do this because it's not the people. That's not what the people asked for. The people have been asking for stuff. The people have been begging the Supreme Court to do stuff. The people have been begging this country to do stuff. But this is just not one of those things that were top on the list. Not by the majority of people.
No. I mean, they could have put some focus into holding some police officers accountable. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Maybe making the streets safer for Black people. Yeah. That could have. I'm sure that was high on the list. I'm sure. No, I'm sure that was.
Since we are talking about the highest court in this land, I mean,
right?
They don't even have to make a judgment. If one of them just make a leak your own draft, you know what? We should probably be nicer to the minorities in America. Man, that would be a help. You don't even have to make a law or nothing. Just leak that out, yo. The Supreme Court thinks that we should be nicer to minorities in America. That would be a good start for me.
Yeah, just write something out like, yo, we've been messing up lately. We're gonna have to do better by Black folks.
Tell the truth about this thing.
Just tell the truth. But
I got one more thing I want to say about this abortion thing. Well, there's gonna be some more. I wrote some letters today to some clergy men in my area. I'm hoping they respond soon.
Oh goodness, you writing letters?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hope they don't get mad at me. I'm old school. I write letters. So envelope in your mailbox. That's me. Please say yes. Please say yes. Come on to the blog. But this is what I want to say. A lot of Christians are happy, and some of my Christian friends told me that if I don't agree with overturning Roe versus Wade, I'm not a Christian.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait to get one of them on so we can talk about that, because I've yet to find in the Bible where God tells me that we should rule the world. No matter what I believe in does not make it okay for me to make it for everybody to believe in. I believe we need, wait, one more thing. I believe that needs to be thought about, and we need to, as the people that refer to life in a Christian manner, need to think about the fact that if you are lording over people, then you are the Taliban. You are being exactly what we don't want. The reason why we're mad at the Taliban, because they take their religious views and they make laws out of them, and they make people live by them no matter what. And
right.
That's exactly what this is.
That's exactly what that is.
That's exactly what this is. There's no way around it. There's no way around it, because if you want to make a law about something biblical, won't you make a law about helping others? Make a law about being open-minded and conscious about what we're doing in this country, instead of start making laws to divide us.
Now, I'm not a Christian woman. I'm a spiritual woman. However, my beliefs are do the right thing, and the universe will bring those things back to you, the karmic energy. However, with that comes a wisdom to know that everything ain't always peachy, and life happens because there's too many variables in life. You're not living on your own. You can't just live a straight path without any intersections with anyone else. So things happen, and we have to do what is best for us in that situation. So I agree with the right to choose for that reason, because everything isn't always black and white. Right. When you're dealing with people, when you're dealing with, the fact that we were given the right to choose, we were given free will. When you're dealing with that aspect, then you're always going to have some situations that aren't really the norm, right? You're going to have exceptions to any rule. And the problem with legislature is that it's black and white. Okay. And we don't live on a black and white scale. No. So for those Christians that are so excited that this has been overturned, all I can say is that I pray that they don't have a daughter, a niece, a sister, a mother that ever has to have a reason to need to make that choice, because things happen to people all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just, hey, I made a mistake. sometimes it's forced, and sometimes things happen where it could be a medical necessity. Um, just like the young lady that we were watching her interview the other day, how she was going to have to go to another state to have a medical abortion because the state that she lived in would not perform it for her, even though they knew that her going into childbirth was going to kill her. Period. It was going to kill her. She had a blood condition. She was going to lose too much blood. And she was going to have to go to another state and hope that they could do it for her. I hope that none of these Christians ever have to deal with that kind of thing. I hope that anybody that agrees with this, I hope you never have to deal with that. I hope you never have to be in a situation where you have to make that choice.
I'm gonna throw one more thing out. In my research, looking up things, just little things. So I don't want to name this college because I don't want to get a college a bad name, but I want to tell you.
Oh, goodness.
I want to tell you this. It is a Christian university. It is a Christian university. It's one of the largest in America. They had 6 rapes this school year there. I don't know if the report that I read didn't say anything about if they got pregnant or anything, but I'm saying this school year, one of the largest Christian universities in America had at least 6 rapes in it. I'm just saying, Christians got to watch where you stand at. You got to watch where you stand at.
Get a little messy sometimes.
You got to watch where you stand at.
That's not funny. I feel bad for those young women.
Funny, but could you imagine
the hypocrisy of it all is just like.
Could you imagine if they turn up pregnant and they want to get an abortion and they can't have one? And they
right.
Not only, I mean, I'm just saying. Juju lady, I want to thank you for your time today. Please tell the people where they can find you at.
thejujuhole.com. I'm on IG, Facebook. And I'd like to mention that this beautiful picture here was done by my 14-year-old daughter.
Oh, awesome? That is a wonderful background. I like that.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, guys, look me up.
All right. I'd like to thank y'all for showing up again.